I got you covered with the most efficient way to regain your mobility so you can start to move better and hurt less overall. So a lot of my videos that you'll see are based on the 3R approach. And I found out through years of clinical practice, if you do these 3 R's in order of each other, then you're gonna get the best results in the most efficient time possible. Number 1 is reduce tension. So let's use the hamstrings as an example because everybody's got tight hamstrings. So if I wanted to restore mobility in the back of my legs, the first thing I would want to do is prime the tissues I'm going to train by lengthening them. So a simple hamstring stretch like this would be foot up on an elevated surface, slightly bent knee, and then you hinge forward, feel a big old stretch, and then I like to pulse through, trying to go further and further each rep. Now after you reduce that tension, again, that's only part 1. The next part is restore range of motion. So we want to decrease tissue tension around the joint that's involved, and then we want to restore the motion in that joint once that tissue is nice and lengthened. So to continue our hamstring example, again, most people feel hamstring tension when reaching for their toes, aka hip flexion range. So if we just reduced our tension by doing a nice hamstring stretch, right afterwards what we can start to do is a joint lift off where now I'm working into that hip flexion range while it's passively elongating the hamstrings on the backside here. And that's where you get really good results. After you're loose, if you restore that range of motion, then you're going to prime your nervous system to hold on to those ranges for longer periods of time. So most people just stretch or reduce that tension, but if you don't train the joints, that's where it keeps tightening over and over and over again. So with this philosophy, you're going to help break that cycle. And the third and final philosophy, reinforce with strength and stability. So once we reduce the tension in the muscles, we want to restore the range of motion in the joints. Then we want to strengthen those tissues within those newfound ranges of motion, and that's what allows our nervous system to really hold on to those changes for long periods of time. So for our hamstring example, a simple thing we could do after passively stretching through the tissues and restoring that hip flexion range is a simple RDL. So if I got this medium-sized weight here, slight bend in the knees, now I'm going to simply slowly load those tissues under tension here, and then I'm just going to bust out a good 10 to 15 or whatever it takes for that specific muscle group. And you'll be surprised how efficient it is when you do these 3 things in order. You're going to move better, you're going to hurt less, and you're going to be primed to do whatever activities you love. So if you want more joint mobility and you want the most efficient route to get there, then you've come to the right channel.